You think you are having a conversation. You are not. You are being programmed. And the programming does not come with shouting or threats or anything obvious. It comes disguised as an offhand comment, a casual phrase slipped into everyday talk, the kind of thing you hear and dismiss without a second thought, until you realize that phrase has been rewiring how you see yourself for months or years. Here is the difficult part. The people who want control over you do not need to bully you. They just need to nudge you slightly off course, repeatedly, consistently, until you no longer recognize where you are standing. And they do it with 8 specific phrases. Once you know them, you will hear them everywhere, and you will never fall for them the same way again. Phrase 1. You are too sensitive. This is the most common dismissal in any conflict. It sounds reasonable on the surface. Maybe you are being sensitive, maybe you should calm down and let it go. But that is exactly what the person wanting control needs you to believe. The mechanism is clean and predictable. You raise a concern about their behavior. They redirect the focus from what they did to how you reacted. Suddenly, you are defending your emotions instead of addressing their actions. The entire discussion shifts away from accountability and onto your supposed overreaction. And you lose ground every single time without even realizing the ground was taken. What is interesting about this pattern is how quickly people internalize it. After hearing it enough times, you actually start apologizing for your reactions before the other person even says anything. You preemptively second-guess yourself. The damage is already done before the conflict even starts. What they are really telling you is not that you need to toughen up. They are telling you that accountability is not on the table and you should stop asking for it. Phrase 2. Everyone thinks you are overreacting. This phrase takes the first one and adds a toxic ingredient. Imagined consensus. When someone says everyone thinks something about you, they are inventing a crowd of people who agree with them. You have no idea who everyone is. You cannot confront them. You cannot verify the claim. All you get is the message that the entire room is against you and you are the problem. Psychologists call this triangulation. They bring an invisible third party into your conversation to make you feel isolated and wrong. You start questioning your own behavior because apparently everybody sees it the way they do. What they are really doing is not passing along social feedback. They are manufacturing pressure to shut you down. Phrase 3. I was just joking. Can you not take a joke? This is plausible deniability in its pure form. The person says something mean, something designed to hurt or undermine you, and when you react, they retreat behind the shield of humor. Now, you are not just the person who got hurt. You are the person who ruined the mood by taking a joke too seriously. It creates a complete trap. If you do not react, the behavior continues and gradually escalates. If you do react, you are the problem for lacking a sense of humor. The joke was never a joke. It was a test. A way to measure how much disrespect you will absorb before you object. And the test is designed so you fail either way. What they are really communicating is not comedy. It is a declaration that they get to insult you and you do not get to mind. Phrase 4. You are lucky to have me. This phrase builds dependency from scratch. It reframes the entire relationship as an unequal transaction where one person is the generous donor and the other is the fortunate recipient. You are supposed to feel grateful for their presence, grateful for their patience, grateful that someone of their caliber chose someone like you. The gradual erosion of your own value is the entire point. Because once you believe you do not deserve better, the idea of leaving becomes psychologically impossible. What this phrase actually says has nothing to do with gratitude. It is a cage built out of appreciation. Phrase 5. Nobody else would put up with you. This is the previous phrase amplified to full destruction. It is not a suggestion that you should feel lucky. It is a declaration that you are fundamentally unlovable by anyone else. It targets your deepest fear about being completely alone, and it turns that fear into a leash. You stay in the situation because the alternative faces you with your worst insecurity, exposed and unprotected. The math they want you to do is simple. Endure what is happening now, or risk being alone forever with all your flaws on display. That is not a real choice. What they are really communicating is not loyalty. It is ownership disguised as patience. Phrase 6. You are remembering it wrong. This is classic gaslighting. The person looks you in the eye and tells you your memory is broken, your perception is defective, your direct experience did not happen the way you know it happened. Over time, you start second-guessing your own mind. You stop trusting your recollections. You catch yourself thinking, maybe I am confused. Maybe I am making this up. That self-doubt is the exact outcome they are achieving with every repetition. Because someone who does not trust their own memory cannot trust their own judgment. And someone who cannot trust their own judgment is exceptionally easy to direct. What they are really doing is not offering clarification. They are taking possession of your reality. Phrase 7. If you loved me, you would. Emotional blackmail delivered in 7 words. This phrase connects your affection to your compliance. It turns love into a conditional resource that gets withheld until you behave the way they want. You either do what they ask, or you prove that you do not actually care. There is no middle ground here. No room for boundaries. No acceptance that two people can have different needs. It makes every single disagreement into a loyalty test, and it trains you to abandon your own requirements to avoid the crushing guilt of being labeled as someone who does not care. What this phrase is really about has nothing to do with love. It is about obedience dressed up as devotion. Phrase 8. You always do this. This is pattern framing at work. The person takes one instance of your behavior and expands it into a permanent character flaw. One late arrival becomes you are perpetually late. One misunderstanding becomes you never listen to anyone. One moment of frustration becomes you are always negative about everything. Once your behavior gets labeled as a pattern, every future action gets judged through that exact filter. You cannot win because the narrative is already written and sealed. Your attempts to change get ignored or dismissed as temporary glitches. The narrative is locked, and it always points directly at you as the source of every problem. What they are really doing is not making an observation. They are writing your biography without giving you a vote. Here is what makes all 8 of these phrases so damaging. None of them sound abusive on the surface. They sound like things ordinary people might say during a heated argument. And that is precisely why they work so well. If someone screamed insults directly at you, your defenses would immediately activate. You would know something is wrong. But when the abuse hides behind casual observation and reasonable feedback and careful advice, it slips completely past your defenses without triggering any alarm. The pattern follows the same arrow every time. The phrase arrives and seems small. You dismiss it as nothing. It repeats days and weeks later. You start questioning your initial read on the situation. You change your own behavior to avoid hearing it again. And the person delivering the phrase gets exactly what they wanted from the start. A version of you that is quieter, easier to predict, less willing to push back, more willing to accept conditions that do not serve you. But understanding the mechanism breaks the mechanism completely and without exception. Once you can name the tactic while it is happening, the tactic loses its grip. You cannot be manipulated by a pattern you recognize in real time. You hear the phrase, and instead of internalizing it, you translate it instantly to what it actually means. That translation is your shield and your sword in every conversation from this point forward.